Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I have the honor of sitting down with someone who's working on a problem that is so relevant to all of us. How we show up, how we brand ourselves, whether in business or in personal life.
Welcome to GenAI Talks.
Can you introduce who you are and your company and what you're doing with your product?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Sam. I'm Vidya. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of FinalLayer. We're building AI agents to make your content creation workflows easier, better. And the first agent we've launched is the LinkedIn Post Agent, which tracks topics on your behalf, follows what's going on in news on your behalf, and brings you ideas that are trending that you can talk about. Helps you write that post and also find a video clip that goes along with it so you can participate in the conversations and build your brand at the same time.
Can you share a little bit like what went into that? It's an art and a science of creating such a powerful tool like this LinkedIn bot that you create, agent that you created.
That's right. In fact, building creative agents is actually very unique because it needs to combine the human creativity along with all the things that we can make easier for you. So, for example, we can take on cognitive tasks like doing research, brainstorming ideas, coming up with your annual content timeline and plan. And then we can also automate your distribution, like, for instance, update your CMS, post on social media, track analytics. But the creative piece, the core component of it, there's input from the human in order to make that real. And also, how do we make this sound like you, write like you, and so on and so forth? It's more than the word personalization is thrown around a lot. But when we think of personalization, we think about it in a few vectors. Number one, what's your vocabulary like? Maybe you're from South Texas or from Boston, you write very differently. Or you're a non-native English speaker, but then you have an advanced technology degree. So you have different pockets of vocabularies we need to combine in order to actually sound like you and write like you. So we think about a lot of these things in order to build an agent that truly represents you. Contextual storytelling is what makes humans so special and so original, right? And in order to capture that context in an AI-built system, we need to be able to say, what did you talk about last week? And what are you going to talk about next week? And what's the connection between these things that you're going to say week over week? And that's one element. And then tracking your core beliefs or who you are and what is your online personality? Like, how do you want to represent yourself, for example? People like to take stances on different issues. Let's take, remote working versus working from office. It's such a polarizing topic. You are usually either a pro remote work or a pro office person. When you're talking about building this consistency over time and evolution over time, and, think about memory. It's one of the hardest things to bring in an agentic world is really memory. Do we model it as short-term memory, long-term memory? Humans have such a complex way of dealing with memory. Like, we remember things from way back and sometimes in vivid detail and sometimes only the idea of it. But then when these agents represent us, how much should they remember us? And how should we model the memory for these agentic systems such that we get it right in the short term and the long term? I don't think all of these things are solved yet. And in fact, the systems that are going to evolve and crack some of these things will go on to become the super successful systems in this area.
What is something that maybe people don't know or are aware of that really can help them really get better at that core human problem of knowing how to really build my personal brand?
This is a thing that many of us founders really struggle with, right? Like, we all know we should be building our personal brands and we make mistakes in how we approach it. And sometimes we have to walk back our mistakes, and it's sometimes okay, sometimes harder to do than we imagine. Like, for instance, there's a new trend among founders. This is that people are calling building in public, where the idea is that you share everything that's going on in your journey of your startup or your entrepreneurial journey as they are, like vulnerable, raw, etc. But some founders I do see take that too far, and they basically say, oh, I got a call from this other founder today, and these are the 10 things they're doing absolutely wrong, and I think this is so awful. I'm like, okay, when you're doing your journey and building in public, you don't get to tear down another founder without their permission.
Can you share what that problem is like and just the problem of being and making genuine content in a world where agents are everywhere?
I know this is a fascinating topic. Now, people think when they see an M dash that it's almost certainly written by AI. But the truth of the matter is, if you talk to journalists and, they love using the M dash, now unfortunately they're forced to think about other things because they can't use it or everybody's going to think that AI.
The semicolon is making a comeback.
That's right. That's right. Because the M dash is no longer a cool thing to use, right? But often what is really happening is these AI systems, the mismatch is in the narrative versus the vocabulary. If you find AI tends to, by default, write with shallow narratives and with fancy vocabulary. So I think the mismatch in narrative and vocabulary is one of the main reasons for people thinking and talking about this AI slop.
What's the big bet for the future that most people might not know is coming, that again is just truly, from your vantage point, more real than they might think?
I think the world of creative storytelling is going to be vastly transforming. But I think the biggest transformation will come in empowering people in being able to tell original stories, but with accelerated timelines and amplified voices. I do believe there will be a Netflix of tomorrow, which is made up of entirely, individual filmmakers and small-time storytellers, but they're able to produce content that we are all, mesmerized by. I think that's the future that's definitely coming.
How can people stay in tune with you and your business and follow what's going on with FinalLayer?
Well, great place to connect is LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn, but also I'm on TikTok and other socials as Hello Vidya. So HELLOVIDYA. And would love to connect with people on any of these platforms.
You got a follow from me.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Amazing
much.
time.